Hi, I'm Gloria Bettis Walker, and I'm actually taking a quick break today to do this video because of an issue that happened with a client of mine earlier. I had a client who called me in tears about their child with a disability who was pointing to their genital area and was saying pain, hurt, that kind of thing, but their child can't talk. So this mother called me in tears, and we went through a list of things, and coming off of a couple of cases, I've had a couple of cases recently, which were with regard that dealt with special kids with special needs and sexual abuse, and it's a very, very emotional subject for parents. It's a very emotional subject for me as a parent of a child who has a lot of issues, a lot of trouble speaking and communicating his needs. So. Completely related to my client. And yes, sexual abuse is rampant, and sexual and physical abuse, I should say. But abuse is rampant, and particularly with children with special needs and children with disabilities. So if you're a parent and your child has come to you and said something like this, there's a few things that you can do. I'm going to relay a really quick story about my own son, and this is something that happened just very recently, actually, in the past year. My son, who's largely echolalic, was screaming in class, yelling out, "Oh no, does your penis hurt?" And for those of you who know echolalia, you know that our children speak, they sort of speak in the way, or they repeat phrases that have been said to them, and he doesn't really use the pronoun I very much. So he says things, as somebody would ask him. So he was basically saying my penis hurts. Oh no, my penis hurts. Very disturbing. And of course we had the school looking at us. So we were looking at the school. And there many issues came up, obviously, for me as a parent. And I think this came up for my client earlier, and this certainly came up for my most recent cases that I've been working on, where it's not only that it's a child with an abuse issue, possible abuse issue, but it's also the fact, and what comes up at that particular moment when you realize that there might be an issue, there might be something going on that you don't know about. Your emotions come full. I mean, they come on just huge waves, and I understand that completely. And one of the things that I try to talk to parents about and certainly counsel them on is, we've got to remain strong. We've got to be sane. Sane meaning we can't jump the gun on anything. But there are lists of things, and to be diligent, you've got to be diligent as a parent. But we want to maintain our sanity, and we want to go through a quick list of things. And so, what you should do as a parent, should your child come out with some kind of pain or, state that there's a certain problem in an area, if they're showing behavior problems, behavior issues, some things are coming out. You want to look, obviously, for physical signs of sexual or physical abuse. You got to look for bruises, welts, rashes, especially if you have a child who is not toilet trained yet, those kind of things. That's number one, first and foremost. Second, you want to look for underlying medical issues. Is there anything going on? Is there, an allergic reaction? Is there a bad reaction to something? Is there a urinary tract infection, a yeast infection? What else? So those are the top things that you want to do. Secondly, if you do suspect abuse, and remember that abuse happens with people we know, and that's a hard one for us as parents of children with disabilities to swallow. But that happens in the general population. Think of the population of people with disabilities. It is going to be someone they know. It would be possibly an attendant, a caregiver, a teacher, a friend, a neighbor, someone in close contact with them. So it's really important to remember that it's same as it's the same as the general population, and it's a very touchy subject, and it's a very emotional subject for most parents I talk to. Which is why I'm trying to give just a few tips to kind of keep you grounded, and should this come up. If you do suspect abuse, yes, you want to immediately call your Child Protective Services agency, and any professional that you need to be aware of. Any professional that you tell of suspected abuse, is obligated to report that to Child Protective Services. So you got to remember those things. In our case, it was an underlying medical condition. and that's for something we were really grateful for, and it's something that I'm working with my current client now and figuring out what's really going on with her child. But there are a number of resources online. If you look up sexual abuse, disabilities, you'll find a number of handouts and resources and information regarding caregiver and attendant care. I do also want to recommend, especially for those parents of children with autism, there's a book called Autism Life Skills written by, and I hope I say her name correctly, Chantal Cecile Kira, who I'm hopeful that I get on the radio show one day. She's amazing, amazing author, amazing mother, amazing speaker, writer, everything. She talks very frankly about these issues, and I think it's something that we need to have open and honest discussions about. It does happen, and it's very scary when it happens. And, again, we've got to go through those kind of lists in our minds, what's really going on with our child. Definitely check out that book. Another thing that I want to remind you of, though, as parents, is if your child is having such communication difficulties that they cannot speak for themselves, there are a number of assistive technology techniques. There's a number of things that need to be happening at the school level for your child. Communication boards, whether they can point, whether they can nod, different ways for them to communicate. Don't just accept that your child can't communicate or is going on at a very slow pace. My child, certainly is largely echolalic, but can still point things out, can still sort of gesture to things, or sometimes can write things out. That's very important, and it's something that any special ed person can help you with, or just look at your IEP and look at your last assistive technology evals and look at your speech and communication goals. Those are key. Anyway, I hope this helped a little bit, and I wish everybody the best of luck with those kids out there. Thanks.